Hi, I'm Feyi here with UEA TV, and we are collecting opinions on campus on the December 12th election. The current result stands as 364 seats for Conservative and 203 seats for Labour and 11 seats for the Liberal Democrat Party. And we're just seeing what people think about it, really. Hi, I'm here with Judith, a PhD student, and I just wanted to know what was your opinion on the recent election results?
Okay, I think I got up this morning and I turned TV on just to check, although I had seen the exit polls last night. And I think, yeah, to sum up, it is that I'm very depressed. I think it's scary times.
I think it's quite. They're more disappointed rather than angry with the whole situation. I think well, obviously with them down to 200, I'm a Labour supporter, but I think with like Brexit and everything like that was dominated by the Tories and everything like that. So like I watched about 12 a.m. last night at midnight, and I turned it off when we lost like Blythe up north, and I think it's the struggle to like connect with the Labour supporters.
Hi, I'm here with Hannah. So just wanted to know your opinion on the recent election results.
I'm quite upset actually because I think we find ourselves with a prime minister that, for example, didn't bother to show up to the climate debate on Channel 4. And in my view, this election should really have been about the climate and the environment because that's the biggest challenge we are facing probably as a species. And I find it quite unsettling.
I'm actually pretty optimistic about the election results. I think it will give us a really good opportunity to get Brexit done, move on to the other priorities of the British people, thinking about the NHS, about social care. And I think the only way of doing that is by getting over the initial step, the initial hurdle, which is the gridlock in Parliament and the paralysis in Parliament. And I think people up and down the country have rejected something and want something else and want something different, and that is they want Brexit, and I think it's a good thing for the country, and I think we can now move on and get on with it.
I'm not too surprised, to be honest. I think being in a university, you get caught up in kind of a bubble of Labour superiority, but I think outside of uni towns, I think it's still quite heavily Conservative. So I'm still quite shocked at how big the margin was, but I was always kind of expecting a Conservative win.
So what is your opinion on the recent election results?
Well, I just feel the whole tragedy really of Brexit includes for young people. It's to do with Erasmus, it's to do with mobility possibilities, it's to do with Britain kind of turning in on itself rather than outwards, We used to be an international nation, and we also have this outer national perspective that's been brought together from migration and international things happening, and now we seem to be turning our backs on that. And for young people, my own daughter's sort of recent graduates, and one of those was an Erasmus student, and now she's working overseas as well. Those opportunities, we don't want that to close down, We want our young people to have mobility, freedom of movement. What's wrong with that? Freedom of movement is a marvellous, marvellous thing. Freedom of movement and peace in Europe, these are like extraordinary achievements, and we seem to be distancing ourselves from that, and that worries me greatly.
I would say I know a lot of people aren't happy about it, but personally for myself and my family, Conservative getting into power was a lot better than Labour getting in. So for me, I'm happy, but yeah.
I'm actually quite frustrated and sort of upset as well about the result, because me and my family are kind of the opposite. We were kind of hoping that the result that it was wouldn't happen, but I guess, like you said, we kind of saw it coming as well. So now I guess we just need to kind of deal with it in our own way.
I think it was expected. I didn't like the outcome because I'm much rather it was a Labour because I'm more towards their policies. But it is what it is, and at least they're going to try and get Brexit done, even though it might impact on institutions like the NHS, for example, which is going to possibly be privatised. And I feel like that's not a really good way.
I think working in higher education, we have the real privilege of spending most of our time around young people and students who are looking forward to the future. They're also outward looking. They've got their kind of lives laid out before them. And what I want so much is to be part of a country and part of institutions that offer them as many possibilities as they can have, and teach sort of values of kindness, of working together, of openness, of diversity, and of course to learn those values from them. And so I suppose my feeling on the day after the election is that I'm sorry we couldn't have done more for them, and that I feel a sense of really having let the next generation down.
I guess I sort of thought, how could people vote for Boris? How could people actually think that he's the person that should be running our country? But I'm hoping this is our Trump moment. I'm hoping the left see this as a way to actually come together and say we need to be united, and we need to actually give out a message of hope. We can actually move forwards. So yeah, I'm not hopeful for the next 5 years, but
this song will represent how I feel about the recent election.